Test.
Hello. Hello.
Hey, how's it going?
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Trek in the Valley. I'm Adam Ordall Quinnell, and I'm here with...
Hey, how's it going? I'm Al Hirt.
I'm here with Al Hirt, and we are on our multi-year mission to go through every episode of Star Trek and talk about it. And we're into Season 2, Episode 5 of Star Trek, the original series. Now, before we get to who we're talking about and what we're talking about this week,
Yeah.
what episode was last week, Al?
It was the, what is it? We just
recorded the episode 20 minutes ago.
No, I know. I'm just, Mirror.
Mirror, yes.
I just had the word apple in my head the whole time.
The mirror universe. And it's funny
Yeah.
because a lot of the... So in the Mirror Universe episode, there was the Tantalus field.
Right.
Right? And then Kirk and the gang in this episode act as sort of a Tantalus, and then that's the apple at the end, you know? Like, so it's very...
It gets kind of fucky at the end.
Thematically, they're in a vibe in these two episodes. So the episode that was last week, Mirror, great, good time. If you haven't listened to that episode yet, please do. And this week, we're talking about Season 2, Episode 5, Star Trek The Original Series, simply titled The Apple.
Yeah, the apple.
And it doesn't really make sense why until the end.
Yeah.
Other than they are in a Garden of Eden type place.
Yeah, but I don't know what they're trying to go for with this. I mean, maybe it was like... that they fucked up with the Prime Directive, or
no? They explain it at the end in the hallway with where Kirk says Spock looks like Satan.
Well, but I mean, I'm like, what I'm saying is like more of, I don't know. It's crazy that they just built and stretched out this whole thing for them to just make that simple point at the end.
Agreed. Yes,
I think that's where it kind of loses me in the episode, but it feels like one of those typical, I guess I'll call them Apollo episodes now.
Yeah, they made a meal out of a small. They made a meal out of a small thematic point.
Yeah, that's true. But the way they build it, though, and how Star Trekian it is, you know, with the red shirts, you know, dying left and right. That's what.
So far,
and them solving the mystery. I guess that's the enticing part, right?
Very much a Star Trek episode, if ever there was one. Can't remember if I said this already. This episode aired originally on October 13th, 1967.
Okay.
I think that's kind of interesting because I don't know when I don't have my release schedule in front of me, but I feel like this is going to come out within a week or two of that date.
Yeah.
So we're 62 years behind them talking about it. And the synopsis from Paramount Plus, I mean, if we ever have, like, if we're ever a success and we have guests on, I want to have the person who writes the Paramount Plus synopsises on. The synopsis is, the crew discovers a paradise controlled by a computer. That's it. And that's interesting because they say it's a computer.
They spoiled like half of the episode, though, by saying that, right?
Well, but also, is Vol a computer? I guess we'll talk about that. So at the end, we're going to ask the question, is Vol a computer? So
it just feels like an Apollo thing, though, you know? Especially at the end. I don't know. Look, I mean, we'll get to it more, but it's just like... it's such a simple ending, I think, to the problem that they built up.
But I want to put this seed in there because you're better at remembering stuff as we're talking about it. We have to talk about how Kirk blames himself for all the bad stuff that goes on.
That's true.
Even though he was ordered by Starfleet. And so Kirk is conflicted because he says, I should have resisted that order. You know, just because Starfleet orders me to do something, if people might die, I should have known that.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is, we often see Kirk struggling or learning through his captaincy. And I feel like they could have almost explored that a little bit more. In the end, it sort of turns out like, yeah, he fucked up, but they did do something good, maybe. So
I don't know. To me, it's just like regular Star Trek, right? Like, I just always love that comparison that you said where in that one episode, they kind of made the purge and that whole subgenre, and then they just like come off it like the next scene. You know, it's like they have potential for all these crazy stems of stories, but then they just kind of like move on because it was the 60s and they had to get to a point, right?
Well, one thing that I find fascinating, like Spock, I find fascinating in Mirror Mirror, the previous episode, is so they go to a mirror universe for 12 hours and they find their way back, and it's this whole heinous thing. Mm-hmm. And when they step off the transporter pod, they just go right to their jobs. Like that was just part of their well, my shift isn't over yet. like if I'm a lieutenant who goes to a mirror universe, right? And I'm doing like a 12-hour shift and I'm in the mirror universe for 8 hours and I get out, I then have to like do other work for 4 hours.
I think
before I get hey, I guess I'm still shit. I should have hung out in the mirror universe for a few more hours. I could have been done when I came out.
No, I think what they would do now and like in Next Gen and stuff is like they would have you have a therapy session with Deanna Troi.
Yeah, you come back,
just chill out.
Well, same thing in Strange New Worlds, or any time that they time travel. Whenever you time travel in Star Trek now, well, that. And whenever you time travel now, somebody from the future, the Time Federation that exists in the future, shows up and says, "Hey, you can't tell anybody about this.
Please stop.
I want to write
ever do this again."
I want to. There's a very funny like Lower Decks story out there. I think that could be possible, where it's like a bunch of ensigns breaking that rule and like telling each other when they time travel.
Yeah, right.
And how then you find out that actually you find out that hey, everybody in the Federation has time traveled, and the only reason they don't know that is because they don't talk to each other about it. So this episode, though, the apple, it opens with them beaming down to a beautiful Eden-like place. There's 3 red shirts, one of whom is an ensign in a short skirt or a yeoman. And and then we've got the primary cast members, Kirk, Chekhov, and Spock.
And they're all just walking around trying to checking this research.
Out. So basically, Kirk was tasked by the Federation to come down here and check out the area and meet the locals, right? They don't really know much about this planet. They just know that there's people there. It's interesting that, so they haven't figured out the Prime Directive yet. Like, they wouldn't even go down there and meet these people in contemporary Star Trek. Like, they're not a warp-capable species. So they wouldn't, unless they had, they would have to feel like Vol is the god computer controlling them. They would have to think that's a nefarious entity first to even spawn going in and fucking shit up.
Well, I think they're still trying to figure out, like, what the heck the Prime Directive is and, like, whether they can mess with everything or if they should with this show.
Yeah, and they do talk about it. They call it
They talk about it at the end,
They call it the Non-Interference Directive. They haven't settled on the Prime Directive yet. It's different every time.
True.
Oh, and also, this sets up...
but anyways, Bones lands, though. He transports down there with 2 red shirts.
2 more red shirts, more grist for the mill.
Right. And so when he walks in, he's like, wow, Kirk, I might just settle down and and live here. And it's so beautiful here. And they're just looking around, roaming.
It's like a Garden of Eden.
Yeah.
And then Chekhov.
line.
So they have to remind you that Chekhov is Russian every time he talks. So Kirk, somebody mentions the Garden of Eden, and Chekhov goes, "Oh, the Garden of Eden is just outside Moscow."
Oh, no, yeah.
It's so beautiful. It must have been really hard for Adam and Eve to get kicked out. And it looks like he believes it, like he's joking around, but...
Oh, no, he
was just outside Moscow, and a very nice place. It must have made Adam and Eve very sad to leave. This dude fucking loves Russia.
Just outside Moscow. All right. And they just move on from that. But I think it's, I don't know, maybe it's kind of charming. It's a part of his charm that, like, he's out in space way far away from Earth, from his home, but he still loves his mother Russia.
Yeah, and also when you think about it, it's 1967 and he's a Russian guy, and they're like also making fun of Russians.
Oh,
like,
for sure, it's definitely
like, look
that
at this
too.
dumb Russian that thinks the Garden of Eden is a real place.
But that's almost like as cringy though as the whole Apollo thing. Again, that the Apollo episode where Kirk's like, "We have one God and that's plenty." And it's like, ugh, that's enough.
there's a funny I only know of one God, and he doesn't dress like you.
Oh,
it's like some superhero says that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Peter Parker Spider-Man, maybe. I can't remember, but so they're talking about how beautiful this place is, and then one of the red shirts, and then they show
effect.
a plant.
It's a practical effect that's gorgeous.
A plant like turns its little puppet plant head at this red shirt who walks up to inspect it, and he gets something we know about on this show, a cloud of spores in the face.
Yeah.
And so it's a cloud of spores, but also little spikes that hit his chest. So it's like spores, and it shoots little prickly needles into his chest, and he dies instantly. Now,
it's got to be poison. I mean,
yes, but get into that. But there's a dog barking in the background. With the new equipment, we really hear everything that happens around us.
It's very sensitive.
So here's the thing. This is what I call the Prometheus approach to science fiction. If I'm a scientist on an alien planet and I see a fucking plant that like seems sentient, like turns to look at me, I don't go stare down the barrel of that plant. Like in Prometheus, these are xenobiologists. They study alien life, and they're like poking at some alien thing that then bites their face off or whatever the fuck.
It's like the thing where, someone tries to grab something off the ground, and they're on a foreign planet, and they're like, well, let me just take off my glove so I can grab it with my fingers. It's just like... It's kind of like a human, dumb thing to do. I'll just pick it up.
The air is breathable. I'll just take my helmet off.
Exactly.
It's but what if there's bacteria that your fucking scrubber in your helmet can't detect?
Or what if there's bacteria that you can't cure with antibiotics on your ship?
And also you can't detect. It's all bad.
Exactly.
I would keep my helmet on. I would laugh and laugh as my crewmates take their helmet off. And so this is...
There's no real way to know, honestly.
Exactly. And so this is The Apple. It was written by Max Ehrlich and directed by Joseph Pevney. Now, they got one of 4 or 5 soon to be dead red shirts.
Yeah.
And they have they talk to, the men's killed by a poisonous plant, right? And the next conversation is Kirk explaining to Scotty what happened, right? And Scotty is like, oh, it was terrible what happened to Hendorf. Mm-hmm. And then Scotty says, yeah, it's terrible that what happened to Hendorf, but they say it's pretty beautiful down there. Huh? I'd love to go for a walk in a garden. Scotty, it's a fucking murder garden.
Yeah.
How dumb are you, dude? He's telling you that a plant just killed a guy, and you're like, I'd love to go for a walk in that garden. So basically, Scotty's got a problem up there. Their antimatter pods are losing their potency. But it doesn't seem
Kirk's
like anything dangerous.
Yeah, Kirk's like, is that a problem? And Scotty's like, well, I didn't really say it was a problem. But
no, what Kirk says is, and so you're saying we're safe, right? And Scotty goes, I didn't say that.
Oh, okay.
So he's saying Scotty says I could go for a nice walk in a garden with leaves and grass, and it's like, dude, they just fucking killed somebody. What are you doing?
I'll do the walking, Scotty. That whole during the whole episode, the radio interaction between Kirk and Scotty is really funny.
There is there's an ensign or a red shirt in this who looks just like Joel Edgerton, the actor, the guy who goes to so one of the ensigns goes to find the humanoids, right? And then Spock notices that there's a humanoid following them in the bushes that's secretly following them. And then we find out that...
this scene.
Well, see, here's the thing. I thought... So Chekhov puts the moves on the yeoman. He's like, I've wanted to get you to a place like this for a long time.
Yeah, she's like, I'm fucking terrified, dude.
Well, but then we find out that it isn't the unwelcomed advance that I thought it was. Because I think a guy acts like that, no way would a woman want to fucking be with him. But this is 1967.
I think
they are
together. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
So he's saying, I've wanted
stupid shit like that.
I've wanted to take you on a vacation like this before. But she's worried because people are dying. And he goes, if you insist on worrying, worry about me. I've been wanting to get you in a place like this for a long time.
Worry about me. I'm horny. It's so ridiculous, dude.
Horned out.
It reminds me of the whole Scotty thing too with the lady.
And he got electrocuted a bunch of times in the show notes.
I'm still horny though, even though I got electrocuted.
In all the show notes, we just released that episode today. In the show notes for it, I say that my favorite part about it is that Scotty gets electrocuted so many times. It's just fucking rips.
It is.
Now, so they're studying this planet, and they find that the rocks, Spock picks up a multicolored rock, and he's like, interesting geological specimen, blah, blah, blah. And then he just cracks it in half like he's a fucking Hulk. Yeah. And he says, fragile, good cleavage. And it's like, is he talking about the yeoman?
That's how they find out.
Yeah, so then he throws half of the rock down, like, well, I'm done with this half, and it explodes. And so this place...
He's like, obviously it's highly unstable, but this could be some importance here.
This place is fucking dangerous. And now they can't beam out because they're not able to beam out.
It's
There's
something in the atmosphere, isn't there?
Yeah, they don't know what it is exactly. It's either a signal or a beam or something from the planet that's rendering the Enterprise useless. And I don't know if it's going to be... I don't know if they've covered this yet because we've kind of been fast forwarding to get here. But at some point, they get hit by a tractor beam from the surface. I don't think we're there yet. But so then there's Bones is talking to Kirk, and one of the shooting poison plants is pointing at Kirk.
And Spock knocks him out of the way
and gets the poison in the chest. And Kirk comes out and...
Jeez, his face.
The look on Spock's face when he gets the poison and falls down, fucking classic.
He's like, what?
I think that this is all silly for a number of reasons. So, number one, Kirk should have noticed the plant. They're supposed to be being careful.
For sure. And
number
it's
two,
the same plant, and it's right in front of them.
And Kirk is totally right. Kirk tells Spock when Spock inevitably wakes up here, you could have just yelled and I could have moved. I can move out of the way as fast as any man.
Exactly.
But you're not as good at paying attention as any motherfucker, I guess, Kirk, you little fuck. So Bones wants to get him back to the ship, and this is when we find out. This is when we find out the transporters don't work. They can't beam up Spock. And so Bones has to do something with what he's got on hand, and
he's like, "Wait, Scotty, go back." He says a specific line of how it breaks down.
Scotty, so energize. They're trying to energize.
They get back.
It doesn't work. He says, "Scotty, what's the matter?" And Scotty says, "We can't make transporter contact, sir. The entire system's inhibited. The way it is now, we couldn't beam up a fly."
It's like dun dun dun.
Cut to commercial.
Just always like all their systems are down, and aren't they stuck somewhere too? Though can't they?
Not yet.
They can't.
They're not
transport.
That's the thing. They haven't been tractor beamed yet.
Oh, that's right. Because things start to break down piece by piece on the ship.
The ship is losing power. Spock wakes up and says, "I feel quite well, but Bones' fucking potion made me sick."
Yeah.
I love how he refers to a medical serum as a potion, and so Kirk gives Spock shit for getting in the way and should have just told him to move out of the way. And I think that it's
why the fuck did you do that?
Everybody should just pay attention to where that specific huge chest level plant is.
Well, for being, biologists and scientists, they are pretty freaking reckless too.
Or
still
hold something in front of you.
Yeah, a piece of
wood. Like
maybe
if it's not the spores, it's the needles.
Maybe they could hold the rock in front of them and just explode.
And they do mention that there was some vibrations they felt, and maybe that was some sort of power generator that could be doing the beam that's stopping the Enterprise in its tracks, right? Now, the weather's changing rapidly.
They're like, that's weird. A couple seconds ago, there wasn't anything in the sky.
And then a red shirt gets hit by lightning and explodes.
He's like, God, the way they do this is so silly.
I fucking love this one because it's that classic. So right now we've got, in one shot here, we've got the yeoman, Kirk, Spock, and Bones. Okay?
Right.
Then it cuts to the reverse angle, and it's just this red shirt standing in an open area with nobody else around him. And as soon as I saw that shit, I was like, oh my God, that guy is going to get killed by a special effect. Like, that guy, like whenever there's a character that's suddenly on their own in a shot, they are going to be killed by a special effect.
Right in the center of the frame.
And, yep, exactly. Right in the center of the frame. Ooh. Red lightning turns him into a red mist.
He just gets atomized, It's so bizarre. It's kind of like the...
And that's number 2. Third person to get injured, second dead.
Yeah, but let's see. There was a flower and then just 2 flowers then, right?
Yeah,
Two flowers and
lightning.
then the lightning. Okay,
Yep.
yeah. The next one's my favorite.
Every time they show Kirk, he's touching a plant.
Oh, yeah.
He knows
they're
his
just
fucking
rubbing all
everything's
this shit
poison
everywhere.
He knows it's fucking poison. And then they get the call from the Joel Edgerton looking motherfucker who says he's near the village, and he gives them the coordinates so that they can go to the village. And then he starts cutting out. He says they're like a primitive tribal society, and then they go to catch up with him, and he comes
Oh my gosh, dude! This part was so startling because he was just running back.
So here's the thing. This ends, who I don't know what his rank is, lieutenant ensign, whatever. This is the guy who is spying on the village, and he just said, "Kirk, Spock, everybody, come here." Okay. Mm-hmm. Then Spock and them are coming there. And then this guy just comes charging out of the forest. Right? And he's like, hey, blah, blah, blah. And then he steps on one of those explosive rocks. And just like Kirk said, it's a minefield. He fucking explodes.
Yeah.
Why was he running like that?
I don't know. I thought someone was chasing him. It was ridiculous.
Nobody's chasing him. He was just like, come here. He was in the bushes, safe. He said, come find me. I'm at these coordinates. The next time we see him, he's running like a fucking maniac. And he explodes. And it's great. So that's 3 down.
Like, whoa.
We've got 3 dead. And here it is. We're just rewound it to watch it because it's like the best thing. He just comes around. It's over here. It's that way. I never saw anything like it.
Boom.
Exploded. Now, he says, I've never saw anything like it. You just said it's like primitive huts. You've never seen a fucking hut before, dude? You're in Starfleet. Jesus Christ.
And like, obviously, as Spock implied with like throwing the rocks and stuff, it's like, oh, they're kind of like landmines. So maybe that was just set for someone, maybe that was just set for someone for the villagers, to make sure to know when someone's spying or when someone's sneaking up on them or something,
Yeah, I think it's just the planet is dangerous. And so there's another one dead. That's 3 dead, and Spock got hurt. A walk in paradise among the green grass and the flowers. Oh, this is where we get the captain's struggle. So,
right,
Kirk is like, I should have known the second that first guy died. I should have been like,
to be true. Let's beam out.
It's too dangerous. Let's get out of here. But I needed to smell something. I needed to be around plants. I needed to feel a planet under my fucking feet. And Spock is like, you were under orders. And Kirk is like, yeah, but still, I'm a man who has my own mind, and I could have saved people by defying orders.
Yeah, we could have been far away from here by now.
Exactly. And I think that's great. But I think that's a good internal struggle for Kirk to have.
They're already questioning the Enterprise and Starfleet and what their goals are, and this is only the 2nd season, right? Like, when's the other time? When has there been another time when the first
Nomad,
season when they went against the Enterprise's wishes?
I don't know when they went against the Federation. I can't think of something off the top of my head, but I'm pretty baked.
True.
It's tough.
But it's
tough
probably
to
the
think,
first season they might have done it, but this is already, like you said, interesting that they're going against the grain.
And Spock is saying, while Kirk is going through all this ennui, Spock is like, the spy who's been following us is back. And so Kirk instructs Spock and Chekhov to make a distraction so that he can go and karate chop the guy, which he does, and this is fucking great. So Kirk jumps out of the bushes and pops this guy in the chops. This local guy, and the guy starts crying immediately.
It's like, oh fuck!
You punched me. You hit me with your hand in my face.
And Kirk's like, I do not want to hurt you, and he's like, but you punched me.
So let's talk about these as they're described in the IMDb in front of me. Primitive inhabitants.
Oh man,
of Gamma Trianguli 6. Now, this
My
guy...
girlfriend was like, why are they all tan?
They're shirtless and red. The apple, get it?
Yeah.
They're shirtless and red with white skirts, the men, and they have, squares of makeup drawn on their face. They have white poofy wigs, like Christopher Walken vampire wigs.
They just slap them on there, even though all these people have hair.
And this guy's got little antennae sticking out of his neck, which will
right
be important
his
later.
Ears. He says that they are his ears.
Yeah, so this guy's name is Akuta. Now, Kirk is telling them that we come in peace, and Akuta tells them that he is the eyes and the voice of Vol. Vol is their local god that runs everything, right?
Right, and he kind of does the whole take me to your leader.
Yes. Now, I haven't been looking at my notes, but there's one thing that jumped out at me about this that I fucking love. So, right? So this guy says, hey, he says, I'm the voice and mouth of Vol and ears of Vol. And Kirk says, who's Vol? And this guy says, everybody knows. He says, the whole world knows about Vol. And we find out in a couple minutes that there's 18 people on this planet.
Yeah.
So when he says the whole world knows about Vol, it's him and his friends that live over the hill.
That's a good point. I didn't even realize that. And also that he was like, well, obviously. And then it's like, they're all wearing different clothes. They've been here for what, an hour?
Oh, one thing now that I pulled my notes up, something I forgot to mention.
That was so funny though when he was just like, I do not mean to harm you. And the guy's like, but you punched me in the face.
You punched my face with your hand.
What do you mean?
He didn't even have the word punch, right? Because they don't know what it is. He's like, you struck me in my face with your hand. So earlier, when Spock gets hurt, when he wakes up, one of the reasons that Kirk gives for Spock shouldn't be risking his life like that, he says, do you know how much the Federation has invested in you? And Spock starts to say a number, like the Federation has invested money in his education and shit.
He's like, stop.
They don't have money, for one. So maybe he was going to say man hours. Maybe he was going to say 1 million hours of Vulcan training. So this guy's telling them all about Vol, who controls everything. All these people do is live to feed Vol. The things sticking out of his neck are little transmitters so Vol can talk to him.
Spock's very kind, though. He doesn't just walk up and like immediately gawk. He just goes, may I? And just kind of like caresses his chin.
Spock asks for consent to look at the ear things.
Yes, I did notice that. That was a nice little point.
So Scotty is running the bridge. Scotty's got the con, as they say. And he is trying to figure out what to do. But and then as he's talking to Kirk, there's a condition read, a tractor beam has now grabbed them. Now they're tractor beam.
Okay, yeah, this part
keeps getting worse. Mm-hmm. They originally they were losing potency in their whatevers, and then they were out of power, and now that's a fucking tractor beam.
And the warp drives are out, so all they're doing is impulse.
And so they're gonna, if they reroute everything to the impulse engines, they can get out of there. They can keep power for 16 hours. Then they're gonna get crushed to death and burned up. Being brought in. And Kirk says, well, Scotty, if you don't do this, you're going to be fired. Yeah. And Scotty says, well, I'll get on it, sir. I understand. And he should have been like, sir, I just said if I don't get on it, we're all burning in a hellish nightmare blaze.
Maybe the jokes, though, is like some people's way of like coping with stress and like trying to keep them calm and shit, you know?
Well, also not to just branch off, but the other thing about that is this is before the Enterprise was like going and landing on planets and shit. Like they should have just went down there with the Enterprise and just landed. Like you don't have to use energy. Just go with the tractor beam. Just go down and check it out.
Transporter, dude. That's like some classism shit.
Well, no, I mean, so like they're being held in place by a tractor beam. Why don't they just fly the Enterprise down and just be like, you can't tractor beam us anymore? And now we're all here and we can all help.
But hey, who knows? Maybe that tractor beam is keeping them stuck from going down.
No, they're being pulled, it says.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might be right then. Go into it.
So then Akuta takes them to one of the best sets we've ever had on the show.
Yeah, it looks fucking dope.
He takes them to meet Vol, and he says, hey, I can bring you to Vol, but he's not going to want to talk to you. And Vol is a big snake dragon head that's got stairs leading into its mouth.
Yeah, it reminds me of the Cavern of Secrets in Aladdin.
It reminds
that big tiger.
Yes, Cavern of Secrets in Aladdin. Yes, It also reminds me of Snake Mountain in He-Man.
Oh yeah, true.
And Snake Mountain, which is the name of my Apple TV out in the living room.
And also the Cave and Chamber of Secrets too. There's lots of snakes. I think there's a snake mouth entrance in there somewhere, right?
I don't acknowledge the existence of Harry Potter because of J.K. Rowling. But
those actors, they did a good job.
I get it. They did, and I'm glad they got paid.
The costumes.
So this is a beautiful set.
Fuck J.K. though.
Yeah, the snakes got green eyes and with yellow slits. They light up. Akuta introduces them to Vol.
It's so cool. But it all looks like it's out of big, like, fucking pieces of paper mache, it seems like, just because of the crinkle effect.
Yes, the HD makes it really look artificial. I kind of like that about it.
Yeah, that's what it feels. It feels a little more, what is it? Not artificial, but it's to its benefit, right? It's not like it's necessarily part of the rock, but it's kind of just more of like a maybe a living being coming out of it. I don't
Sure,
know. That's just the whole. They don't know what the
it's
fuck
paper
it
mache.
is.
That's why
for
it looks
sure,
like
but
that.
Yeah.
And they find out that there's a force field around it. Spock gets
that's
zapped.
right.
Spock gets zapped by the force field.
He's like, whoa.
Something that I find
Kirk goes, a force field? And Spock's like, obviously.
yeah, no shit. And I just really think that Akuta says the whole world knows about Val. It's 18 people. I'm just going through my notes. Now, we've been there's a great when it comes back. Kirk is doing his captain's log, and he's like, "We've been introduced to Vol." And so they're saying that there's. Oh, this is one thing that bums me out in sci-fi, right? They're talking about how there must be a deep cavern where these vibrations are coming from, where like the energy is. But Spock says it's right below the Earth. It's right under the Earth below our feet.
Oh, yeah.
That ain't Earth, Spock, you dumb motherfucker.
Maybe
That's
like
just
dirt
ground.
Or like ground, yeah.
No,
I don't
you
know.
would say terrain.
They wouldn't even know terrain, yeah.
There's a bunch of different things you could say. It's right in the ground beneath our feet. It ain't fucking Earth unless it's on Earth, motherfucker. That's where I draw the line. People of Vol are a bunch of red folks. They don't have children. There's only a few people. That seems really
good, though. But anyway, so before that, though, Kirk goes, so can you talk to him? And the guy's like, well, we can't really talk to Vol only when he's hungry. And he's like, huh, okay. And he goes, well, I call him, and whenever he needs me, I go. Like,
yeah, when does he get hungry? And he goes, often.
I guess, yeah. Whenever he calls me, it's every once in a while.
So they're just going to hang out at this village.
These are the people of Vol.
And this is, we always get that moment in Star Trek.
So silly, dude.
That moment in Star Trek when the Federation folks are meeting a new race of people and they're just seem so fucking confused that the people are different from humans at all.
Dude. It's so dumb.
So these people don't have any idea of like sex and procreation. They just they just seem to live.
I just love it though. He goes, "Where are the others?" And he's like, "What are you talking about?" And he's like, little ones. They grow.
He goes, like, "Oh, you mean replacements?
Yeah,
we do not need them." and then he refers to sex as, yes, the holding and the touching. Vol has forbidden us. And Bones says,
like, well, there goes paradise.
Nah, Bones wants to fuck. I love it.
I was like, yeah, seriously. I mean. That's the whole fucking. That just cracks me up, though. That he's like, well, there's my idea of Eden gone.
And then Vol makes this. He shows them to their own little room, and they're trying to figure out what's going on with the orbit.
Checking on Bones.
This is where they prove
Scotty.
The orbit is in decay. They're trying to take everything that Kirk even says, ditch the nacelles and just take the main section if you have to. Fucking do whatever. And Scotty's like, well, if I boost the impulse power using everything except life support, that's basically just as dangerous. So they're doing some dangerous fucking shit to get out. And this is where Bones says, look, I just checked all the natives. There's no harmful bacteria, no decalcification, no arterial sclerosis. They have no negative health effects in any way. They're not growing old. They don't age. And that's why they don't fuck or replace. He says they could be 20 years old. They could be 20,000 years old. And then they kind of go back and how that could possibly be. And then the gong sounds and they have to go feed Vol.
Now, it looks like they're dropping stuff into it. What are they dropping exactly?
So Vol rules, right? Because so the Paramount Plus thing already ruined it. Said Vol's a computer, right? And they keep saying that it must be there's this energy source beneath the planet, right? But in this sequence, when the people are feeding Vol, Kirk and Spock are like trying to get closer, and Vol sees them, and they can't get it.
It's hilarious.
But so Kirk deduces, well, if they have to feed it so often, it must not have like a crazy battery or anything. But here's what they're feeding it. They're just carrying fruit into Vol's mouth and throwing it down a tube.
Yeah.
So here's what this is. If it is a computer, we don't see any evidence that it is a computer. other than the fact that it has a tractor
seriously.
beam and a force field, right?
Well, it changes the atmosphere or whatever.
But couldn't magic do that? It wouldn't be a computer necessarily that
maybe
changes
it would
the atmosphere.
Well, yeah, but it could be like the whole power system thing, like again Apollo and all that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So they call it a computer the whole time, but it's really a snake monster head thing, I think. And
Well, they don't want to acknowledge that it's fantasy, but it is funny though how Kirk's like, well, we can just walk in. Let's go check it out. And then the eyes glow, and he's like, well, that's not the way.
Yeah, well,
Bad
you
idea.
know what? We'll come back later
Yeah.
to put a pin in that. And something else. So they're just throwing fruit down Vol's throat. So
Yeah.
if it is a computer, it's a computer that runs on sugar or sucrose. And so they throw it down there, and every 8 hours they need to go throw more fruit down it, or else their environment gets crazy. And so they're trying to their next steps.
It's like giving him praise and worship, though. You know,
This is where the Vulcan Spock mentality butts up against Bones' humanity.
Yeah.
Because Spock is saying, well, this culture's got it worked out for them. Vol takes care of them, and they're provided for and whatever. But Bones is saying, no, they're stagnant. There's been no progress.
they don't create; they just exist.
A sentient being's got to be able to advance, and
They need to have a choice. That's what Kirk's justification is for all this.
there's a couple of and in the end it's kind of unresolved as to what's the better course of action. We know what they did. We're not going to know what happens until way later.
Yeah.
And I just think that that's a really interesting conflict between those two notions. And Spock kind of flip-flops because he even decides later, no, Vol is a piece of shit. We got to do something
Yeah.
about it. But then at the end, he's like, I don't think we did the right thing. And I always enjoy it when Bones and Spock are kind of polar opposites on an issue, and they're both trying to make their case.
And you hear both sides of the argument play out in real time, too.
Yeah, you see it. You see,
Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
Exactly. Now let's see here. So Scotty is just sweating on the bridge. He's got people working in the background. He's trying to get all the power he can. Kirk is trying to break out Kirk is saying they're going to cut it real close. Scotty is like, I need 8 hours, and they have 8.5 hours or whatever, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a very condescending scene where the lady yeoman is walking around worrying about the Enterprise, and Kirk is like, hey, shut up. That hasn't happened yet. Stop worrying about it. In fact, I've got a question to distract your weak womanly mind. And so the question he puts to them is that, Yeoman, speculate. What would happen if someone on this planet died? But they can't. And then Kirk says, you said that Vol takes care of them, she says. Accidents happen. Kirk says, yes, I suppose. What if somebody falls off a fucking cliff? They would need a replacement. Opinion, Mr.
Yeah,
Spock.
right.
So they're basically, and the yeoman, Kirk is trying to get the yeoman to talk about the fact that these people would have to fuck. And she's like resistant about it. She's like kind of tiptoeing around it. And he's like, they would have to make a replacement.
Yeah, exactly.
And then he goes, Spock, you're the science officer. How would they figure it out? And Spock goes, well, I guess they would figure out how to fuck, I suppose. And Bones says, that I'd like to see.
Yeah, Bones is all horned up. He's in his pervert mode here.
Yep. And there's a very cryptic exchange between Akuta and Vol. And Akuta's like, yes, your will be done, Vol. And then he disappears. And this is when we get a scene between Yeoman Martha. Is that her name? Let me check. So this is Chekhov's, the lady that he's dating, apparently. Yeoman Martha Landon. So they're in like a beautiful meadow. And Chekhov is like, if we were to be stranded here, would it be so bad? And she's like, no, because we would be together. And they kind of like get
And then she's
canoodling.
like, but I need the figures. She goes, well, do you know when we're going to leave? And he's like, I have no idea. And she goes, has Scotty repaired the ship yet? And he goes, I literally have no idea. Let's just make out.
Yeah, let's just kiss.
Yeah.
And so they're making out, and then two of the younger looking, more strapping locals are watching them.
And they're just like, whoa, what was that?
Oh,
that touching.
What was that touching? And they like experiment with their sexuality, and it's very
the
funny.
Guy's like,
they
I do
were not
understand.
angry. They were not angry. I think it was pleasant for them.
He goes, what is there to be gained?
It is not a dance. It is a dance, buddy.
Yeah,
He says
hey.
it is not a dance. It does not serve
There's
Vol.
no food.
And so then they find out that they like touching and making out.
Yeah, and as they're like, just trying to risk it, all of a sudden there's a lightning that strikes from the sky.
Yes, and so Vol doesn't like fucking.
It's weird.
Well, here's why. Vol knows that if they fuck, there'd be more people, and there would be enough people to take him over. Right?
Oh,
So that's
true.
why he's population control.
Yeah.
But it's just watching these two
But he could
inhabitants.
get more food.
Like the look on that lady inhabitant's face after they kiss, and then they kiss.
Oh,
She
it's
just
hilarious.
she's just freeze framed, and then they kiss some more. It's fucking great, and I just love how like the editing and the composition of these episodes works. Like in Mirror Mirror, right? In Mirror Mirror, they say, "I wonder what's happening on the other Enterprise," and it cuts to a hilarious joke. Same shit here. Kirk is like, "Spock, how would they figure out how to procreate?" And Spock is like, "I guess they just have to figure it out."
Yeah,
and here's how they find out. They watch Chekhov and his girlfriend make out like some fucking voyeuristic creeps.
It's so weird.
And then immediately Vol gets mad and lightning strikes.
Yeah, that was like instant.
And this is the last straw for Akuta. He's like, "Listen, motherfuckers, these strangers are bad. They're making y'all touch each other. When the strangers are asleep, get the men to meet in the clearing and the women are going to not meet."
Oh, this scene is so gold.
So the men of the village meet. And Akuta has a stick that looks like a battle beast weapon. It's like a V or something.
And in his hand, he kind of has like this like watermelon fruit looking thing, and they're all just gathered in a circle or a half circle.
It's a purple watermelon.
Yeah.
And he says, "Here is Vol's instructions. We have to kill the people."
And they're like, "What do you mean kill?" Yeah.
And he goes, "Imagine this is the head of the strangers." Sets it down, find a heavy stick. Then swing, get up from behind the stranger and do this.
And he just gives a big old swing. And it's
they're
pretty
all
morbid.
scared.
Yeah, they all kind of hopped when he smashed that watermelon.
I fucking love it. And ultimately how this plays out in the end with them all just like overhand whacking.
Oh, it's so
my
fantastic.
God. It is so
but
great.
He goes, "It is the will of Vol. It is his word. We must do this." And they're like, "So just knock him right on the head from the top."
Just bonk them.
And they're like, "Yep."
These aren't living people. They don't produce. They don't think. They exist to serve a machine. If we do what we must, in my opinion, will be a direct violation of the non-interference defense.
The non-interference defense. Interesting. That's weird.
Yeah, that's the prime directive, essentially. And basically, Kirk is arguing they're not robots. We have to give them the choice. And Kirk is like, and I feel like Kirk is really in a spot where even if he thinks Starfleet wouldn't want him to do it, he's sick of following orders at this point. The fact that he's followed orders up to this point is why so many people have been killed by lightning and plants. And then they're chatting with Scotty. Scotty is going to try to pull the ship away, and they get stuck some more, and that's when Kirk and Spock go to have their final throwdown with Vol.
Well, once they pull, don't they, all their systems start to break down, too, because just pushing the Enterprise kind of made it, weaker.
Yep, and Spock gets struck by lightning.
Well, he gets scratched, though, because, Bones says they're only 2-degree burns, and I was like, only 2 degrees, though, coming from lightning?
No, second-degree burns.
2 degrees.
Yeah, not that serious, but they still smart, and Spock says, "Doctor, you have a talent for understatement."
Yeah, he's like, they really fucking hurt, dude.
Your talent for understatement is unsurpassed.
Oh, my gosh, and this fight
scene. And then here we go. This is when the head bonking is going to happen. All the locals come out wielding their sticks, just trying to overhead bonk everybody.
Yeah, they get running off with their hands right above their heads.
And my favorite part of this is Yeoman Martha gets attacked. Or first off, another ensign gets attacked and gets knocked out, and then Yeoman Martha does some fucking serious judo throw here.
Yeah.
And then she kicks a guy in the face.
Jeez.
She fucking kicks ass.
And heals.
And I was talking to my wife about this. Talk about in the scene when they're in the meadow. Talk about punching above your weight class. Like, she is a beauty, and Chekhov is like a troll. Like, it's so funny. Like, her makeup is so perfect. Like, Brittany was watching that makeup show. It reminds me of that makeup show, like how great her makeup is in those shots. And now Spock's walking around with a burn mark on his back from the lightning. They've knocked out all the locals, and there's another crewman dead. We've lost. Now this one was bonked on the head to death.
Yeah, exactly. And he goes, "They've learned to kill."
Yeah, Spock says, "Hey, if you were worried about these beings not being able to be like humans.
Well, now you should.
Now they have learned to kill with a stick that's obviously plastic. And this is when Scotty tries to pull away. There's an explosive thud. They gained another hour. Kirk's got to figure this shit out. Kirk fires Scotty. Scotty
Yeah,
understands. Right. And now Kirk gets back into his head again. I was following orders. I shouldn't have fucking done this. And then
Scotty was just like, Captain, I've done everything I could, and then I still can't get out of here.
And here's where all the stories kind of come together. Because now the Enterprise crew has the locals captive.
Yeah.
And the gong to feed Vol sounds. And Scotty is in the process of trying to pull away, which is also weakening Vol. Mm-hmm. So Kirk and Spock figure out, hey, we're going to keep these people from feeding Vol. That's going to weaken Vol enough for us to get away. That's kind of what he puts together. And then Spock and Kirk go to Vol, and they're going to have, oh, this is so great. So they're going to have Scotty shoot with all their energy. They're going to shoot the force field around Vol, right? And that's going to deplete Vol's power and let them win.
Yeah.
But what I love about it is Kirk and Spock go to take cover, take their distance from what's happening. And they choose to go behind two trees that are about a 6-inch radius in front of each of them.
Yeah, right in front.
It legitimately looks like they're trying to hide for safety behind these tiny trees. It's like they're theater acting almost. Here they go. Look at those little trees. And Kirk looks around Kirk even looks around like this should provide whatever cover we can find.
Yeah, right.
And then there's a great CG shot of the ship shooting Vol. And this whole sequence is great. Vol's force field heats up. He starts smoking.
Oh.
They're generating a tremendous power surge. There's lightning and thunder and Vol's screaming. And then Scotty sees fire. We did it. We killed this fucking ancient robot.
And the weather just starts clearing up too.
How come they never question killing Vol? Like they question giving the people a choice, but they don't question working harder to communicate with. Well, I guess they only have 12 hours.
Yeah, and on top of that, it wasn't. They feel like it wasn't a living being though at all, even though he did control the weather and things that happened on that island.
And he says, Scotty says the transporter will be back online, and Kirk says, Scotty, you're rehired. And now
that whole bit is funny.
And so now they're doing the traditional, hey, we've completely destroyed everything you've ever known about reality, and we're going to bounce, but we'll have some words of wisdom for you.
Yeah.
And Kirk is like, now you'll see how men and women are supposed to be.
It's so weird and
you'll
gross.
Figure it out. You'll figure out love. And
it's like big white savior vibes, that they're just trying to and teach on these random nomads.
Yep.
This random tribe of 18 people.
Yep, and it's
you could learn from yourselves.
And what you create is yours. That's what we call freedom. You'll like it a lot. And then he also says, and you'll learn
children.
You'll learn something about men and women, the way they're supposed to be, caring for each other, being happy with each other, being good to each other. That's what we call love. You'll like that a lot too.
That's amazing.
You and your children. What are children? And he's like, you'll fucking figure it out. And so then it cuts to them back up on the ship, getting back to work. And Spock is like, I still don't know if we did the right thing. And Bones is like, I see nothing wrong with what we did. And, well, it's a good object lesson, Mr. Spock, Kirk says. An example of what can happen when the machine becomes too efficient, does too much work for you. And then Spock says, Captain, are you aware of the biblical story of Genesis? Adam and Eve tasted the apple, and as a result were driven out of paradise. Precisely, Captain. And in a manner of speaking, we have given the people of Vol, the apple, the knowledge of good and evil, if you will, as a result of which they, too, have been driven out of paradise.
Right, because they're socially conscious, I guess.
And it's like, I get it now. I understand the title now. The apple. I get it. And they're going to have children. They've never fucked, but now they're going to fuck. They've given them the knowledge of fucking. Just like the Bible story. I get it now. And then there's the hilarious joke where Kirk says, Spock, are you casting me in the role of Satan in this story? And then he says, and Spock is like, no. And then Kirk says, Kirk says, is there anybody on this ship who might look like Satan? And Spock is like, I'm not aware of anyone that fits that description, Captain. And he folds his arms. And it's like, I didn't think you would be. And he's talking about him. Spock looks like Satan. This brings up...
With his beard.
And then, yes, even more so in the last one. I love it when they make fun of Spock for looking like Satan or an elf, or... When the dude in Who Mourns the Adonis is like, he looks like Pan, and I don't trust Pan. But yeah, so that's so. What did you think, man?
I think this episode was like slightly a little slower than Mirror Mirror. I would just say a 3 out of 5 comm badges here.
So you give it a 3 out of 5 for your rating,
or no, 3.5 out of 5. Excuse me,
3.5 out of 5.
Because that action, the fight scene between the locals and the Enterprise crew, that was interesting and fun.
Yes.
But the one thing too is that it's just kind of sad that it ended into like a whole let's just blow it up kind of deal. Because at first they definitely did try to talk to it and try to negotiate with the Vol, the cave.
Yes, Vol.
But it was just funny how they just ended up blowing it up and just leaving.
Yeah.
And just blowing these people's minds and leaving. It reminded me of, one more thing. The computer, Lander, right?
Yeah.
That's what that
Landru.
Landru, yeah, Landru. Reminded me of that, too.
And it's funny because we find out later in the Star Trek universe, they don't just leave these planets. Like, they also send people back to do second contact.
Yeah.
Like, that's the Cerritos' job in the first part of Lower Decks. Like, they're doing second contact and following up with all these assholes. So it'd be funny.
They're just going
it'd be funny
chaos.
to check in. It'd be funny to check in on these people 100 years from now, and they just like have a bunch of kids and lots of STDs. Because think about it like this, right? Like they don't know anything about their genetics. What if they gestate a child in like 2 weeks, and so so they're just giving birth to kids? They're like rabbits. Like they don't know.
Oh my gosh,
they don't fucking know what Pandora's box.
They don't have the medical means for like birth and shit and like a bunch of mother stuff.
You'll figure it out.
Yeah, seriously, 18 people.
I like that Vol gets mad when people make out. That guy says the entire world knows about Vol. Oh my god, great!
I think the makeup was cool.
Lots of good makeup.
Yeah, the antennas too. That was interesting.
In terms of ranking, I would give this a 3 out of 5. It's like a B minus B Star Trek for me. It's like a C plus B minus. The action is good. The stories are good, but I really wanted them to they didn't really nail down what the thing is. We never saw the computer,
right?
We never saw the computer. We never saw with Landru. It feels like they already did this better.
And they mixed it with 2 other scripts, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I feel like they did this better in a similar idea better in previous episodes.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
But it's good. There's lots of good about it. There's lots of funny lines between Spock and Bones.
And I mean, they're getting into the rhythm. Like what I'm saying is that, the cast is getting better and the writers are getting better. They're just shooting out these, ideas and they just feel a little more polished, I guess. But at least in this one, every, knot is tied, unlike Mirror Mirror, where they just leave the Halcyons and the crystals on an open end.
This definitely has a nice, tight little ending in terms of they tied up all the loose ends. You're right.
And it's just the funny interactions between Scotty and Kirk I like too. And then the action too. Just there's a funny line too with the whole children where it's like little ones, they grow. And they're like, oh yeah. What the fuck are you talking about?
Oh yeah, replacements.
Oh, replacements, yeah.
And that's what's so funny. I'm sure those people, I bet they're pregnant for 4 weeks and then have kids, and it's just going to be a massive fucking problem. And Starfleet's not going to check in on them for 30 years because how much bad could happen in 30 years? A lot.
Yeah, seriously.
But yeah, so good. Oh, because they learned about sex and murder.
Yeah, God.
They didn't have any contact with the Federation. The Federation turns up, and now their
religion is gone.
Their religion is gone. The thing that controlled the weather is dead, and they've learned about sex and murder.
Wow.
Thank you, United Federation of fucking assholes. And, it makes me think that the Halcyons in Mirror Mirror were totally right.
Yeah, seriously. They're like, well, what you did to this one, and then, we did also hear about the Enterprise finding a ship with all these, superhuman people in it and then just sending one of your officers and the husband out to another random planet.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's like they do a lot of reckless shit when you're looking back on it. Or that the one that I like to bring up too is that they went to the 1950s, remember, and they crushed that fucking fighter jet.
Yes,
And they blow that dude's mind.
Yeah, and there's been so many times when people have died as a result of the Federation doing stuff. Like, even if they were benevolent, it still defies that history of peace that those people were talking about. But so that's it for this week's talking about the episode. We're coming up on time. Good job, Al. You were a 3.5. I gave it a 3.
Yeah, I just gave it the half for the action, though.
Yeah, they bonked him. They did some good bonking, and the fact that he Gallaghered that fruit. Like Gallagher, that was
pretty funny.
That's where Gallagher. This was 1967. That's probably where Gallagher got the idea. He watched this episode and was like, "Oh my god, that really stirred something in him." And then he also learned about sex and murder.
Yeah, my one thing is just that I don't know. It was a simpler episode, and then like I said at the beginning of this episode, it's just that you just figure out what the title means at the very end, where it's like, well, I mean, did we kind of trigger some fucked up shit on the planet? Were we the apple in the story of Adam and Eve? And Kirk's like, are we Satan?
Are we the baddies?
And he goes, yeah, are we the baddies? And Kirk's like, do you see anybody that looks like Satan here?
I love that
and
joke.
It's like, oh my gosh.
Such a great joke.
I think they're getting back at him for the whole, like, Spock being like, oh yeah, your whole mirror reverse. They're all people and they're pieces of shit. They're great.
He remembers. He remembers. Well, good talking about this episode, The Apple, which was, as I said, season 2, episode 5 of Star Trek: The Original Series. Next week, we are going to be talking about
what are we getting into?
The Doomsday Machine.
Okay.
And we'll talk about that then. Now, in terms of recommendations for stuff, if you're new to the podcast, go back and listen to all the episodes starting at around episode 11 or 12. That's when we really I figure out the audio recording.
That's when we start flowing.
That's when we get it. But we always end on kind of recommending some kind of art or something, right? And I actually in a former life, I collected like little miniature figures, and I followed a lot of sculptors and like people who do sculpting for like mass-produced toy lines, but they're good sculptors and shit. And there's this guy, Eddie in the City in New York, who's a sculptor who just recently got to design and sculpt a line of Scooby-Doo minifigures. And it's I guess they're only available at Walmart, and they're called Scooby-Doo Tiny Mites. They're in like the impulse buy section at Walmart. And it's like a little mystery machine that's got like 3 or 4 minifigures in it, and they're different colors and shit. And they're fucking great. Like the sculpts look really good. It's like Scooby-Doo by way of Monster in My Pocket, kind of. And I love it. So
they have like the submarine guy. They got
different colors.
They have the space alien kind of guy. They have a Shaggy.
Every once in a while, a line of mass-produced minifigures will come out that are pretty good, or like there'll be surprisingly good sculpts in like a Happy Meal set. Like there was really good Batman sculpts in like a Happy Meal set or a Burger King set recently. So Eddie in the City is a sculptor of minifigures. He got to sculpt some licensed stuff with Scooby-Doo, and it fucking rips. Al.
Oh, word.
What do you recommend for the week?
Let me see. There was some new Flatbush Zombies that was from the week before that I really liked.
What's Flatbush Zombies?
Oh, yeah. They're like they're a trio from Brooklyn, I believe.
Are they rap?
They do rap. It's interesting. I mean, like the beats are pretty big and like not cerebral, but they're kind of experimental. It's kind of like what is it? Not alternative rap, but it just kind of goes like in different directions, I guess, with the sampling and stuff.
Unexpected.
Yeah, unexpected. But some of the songs are good. Some of the songs are, duds, but it's just interesting how like people are still kind of carrying the boom bap sound, the simple like 90 beats per minute kind of like drum loop, and how I don't know, they're just kind of filling in the blanks, but we'll see where they go after this.
Flatbush Zombies.
Yeah, let's see what the album is called. Better Off Dead.
Right on. You heard it here on Trek in the Valley, where at the end of the episode, we recommend random ass shit.
Yes.
Scooby-Doo
figurines and rap albums.
Exactly. So come on back next week for more Trek in the Valley.
Tiny Mites.
Tiny Mites. I looked, so we're in the valley. That's the whole thing of it.
By the way.
There's not a lot of Walmarts close to us. So I got to figure that shit out. But yeah, thanks for listening. Do all the stuff in the bumper, like, follow, subscribe, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you.
Bye. Trek in the Valley is executive produced by Adam Ordall Quinnell and Al Hirt. Theme song by Al Hirt. Recorded by Adam, mixed and edited by Al. Check the show notes for our socials, and you can email the pod at trekinthevalley, all one word, @gmail.com. Like, subscribe, review, and always explore strange new fucking world.